Yes, guys, welcome back to Alpha Plug. Today I've got a very special guest, Brad Baskin, Bryce Hall's manager. How you doing today, bro?
How are you, man? I'm great, thanks.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good. So let's get straight into it, right? Bryce Hall has a fight against an undefeated bare knuckle fighter next week. What's his like preparation been like?
Preparation from him, it's been extreme. He's had to lose a lot of weight and in a short amount of time as well. And just he's been working hard. He's working really hard.
Is bare knuckle fighting something that Bryce is looking to do long term, or is it just for this one fight against G Perez?
So we've never talked about a fight after this yet. We're really just focused on this one. I do know we both love working with this organization, Bkfc. We think it's going to be just an insanely huge sport. Bare knuckle is just different, and so we'd like to work with him in some capacity down the line. Definitely. Just don't know if there's another fight for him. Let's see how this one goes, though.
I've heard that Bryce has been training with a Bkfc champion, Lorenzo Hunt. What he picked up from Lorenzo, is there any like tips and tricks he's going to use in the fight?
He definitely learned a lot of specific tricks. Picked up a lot of things from him. I can't really discuss details. I know everyone will see it when they watch the fight, but yeah, Lorenzo, he's just different. He's just made different. When you meet him, you shake his hand. His hands are huge. He's got a presence that I've just never experienced before. He's a bad man. He's a wild man.
Yeah, I've heard. So then moving in onto the influencer boxing scene now, Bryce
Hmm.
said that Misfits overweight in Nashville that he's planning on making a return to influencer boxing. Could we expect maybe to see Bryce on the prime card in October?
Uh, Look, we talk to Mams all the time, and nothing's off the table. However, he's got this fight. It's in 6 days now, and it really depends on how that fight goes. For a couple reasons. I mean, one of them being damage, right? So if he gets hurt and he can't fight again soon, then obviously October's out. Maybe there'll be another card. But I do know that he does want to get back in there and show the world what he can do in the Misfits stage too as well.
Yeah, so talking about KSI, I saw in a recent interview that actually Bryce said that he would beat KSI in a street fight. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with him.
So you
I,
think Bryce would absolutely like dominate KSI in a street fight if we just street rules?
oh, in a street fight all day, every day, quickly. Yeah. Bryce is a fighter. I know he misspoke a couple of years ago on stage, right? And that's his whole thing is everyone's saying, "Oh, you're not a fighter. You never claimed to be a fighter." Okay, great. He's a fighter. Bryce is a fighter. He would drop KSI in the street in a heartbeat, and yeah, I think he's going to prove to everybody what a fighter he is. August 11th.
Yeah, man. I think KSI though he does have that dog in him. So I think him versus Bryce in the street fight would be so interesting because you've got two guys who would just throw bangs, throw absolute like power shots at each other. It'd be so good to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it'd be entertaining for sure. I hope it never happens. I don't want either one of them to get hurt in the street like that. But maybe we'll see in the ring. Who knows?
Yeah. Hopefully. So Misfits has successfully now hosted a Survivor tag as well as two tag team matches. Is that sort of thing something that Bryce wants to be a part of? A possible Survivor tag in the future, or even a tag team?
So we haven't really talked about that about him being involved. Although I was with him in Nashville watching it, it was actually really cool to watch. Mams put on an incredible show, and just the whole concept of it. I was sort of negative and thinking it was going to be lame. It was really cool to watch. Definitely revolutionary, and yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. We didn't talk about that while we were there, but yeah.
Do you think Survivor tag is here to stay now in Misfits? Because he was so entertaining back in Misfits 08?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It just needs some tweaks. Obviously, like different things like the length of the rounds and switching of the corners was a little bit awkward, but I think it can be fine tuned and it's really cool. It's very entertaining. I liked it.
Do you think if Bryce was maybe part of that fight, so maybe we'll take out Swarms, then put Bryce in the ring. Do you think Bryce would win that entire Survivor tag match?
Yes.
Do you think he does it like with ease, or do you reckon it's going to be a war maybe between him and Nick Lamau?
Look, I don't know. I can't call the timing of it. I just think Nick's great too. Nick did some work with Bryce when we first started training. Um I don't know how quick it would be. It depends. Fights change. I just think Bryce will come out on top, and I respect all those guys who were in there. Though it was fun to watch.
And if you could pinpoint maybe one person, who would be Bryce's like dream tag team partner?
Oh man, I don't know. I think he'd probably like to do it with Nick.
Ooh, that would be a really good like matchup. Wow. I wonder who they
Yeah.
fight though. Maybe B Dave and Pineda.
I think they would both probably love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously Bryce, he was on Social Gloves 2 years ago, I think, against Austin McBroom. And
Yeah.
many people said that, he was the best promoter on that card. He sold the fight, just his personality, his like essence about him. He really sold the fight. Would you go as far to say that Bryce is, the best promoter in the influencer boxing scene?
Yeah, I would. I think he's a showman. He knows what to do, what to say to get people's eyeballs on him. And yeah, no, he is the Conor McGregor of influencer boxing. He's the Chael Sonnen, if you will. He's the guy who brings the pay-per-views. That's his thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then would Bryce consider, or would yourself consider, would you say it's a good, would you give this advice to Bryce maybe to rematch McBroom, but just not on Social Gloves?
Yeah. I mean, I think he would love it. I would love to see it. I think the world wants to see it. Yeah, definitely.
100%, 100%. Because obviously, we've seen McBroom now come off back-to-back losses to Gibb. So maybe that fight now, obviously, we'll see how Bryce does against G. Perez and bare knuckle fighting. But if Bryce comes out on top, maybe that's the fight to make now.
Yeah, let's see if McBroom will take it. I mean, once Bryce gets in there and takes care of G, I don't know if McBroom will have the stomach for it, man. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I saw on Twitter actually that yourself, Bryce, and the crab daddy himself, B Dave, Misfits,
Yeah.
B Dave, actually got into some beef. Can you tell me what happened there?
Yeah, so Bryce and I, we're actually landing in Nashville. Somebody texted us, hey, get on this space. A whole bunch of guys are talking trash. So we hopped on this space, actually just walking through the airport. And a whole bunch of guys were just trying to lure Bryce over there, saying, I'll do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Come over here right now. And Bryce wanted to go. One of them being B Dave and just some of the other guys were at the house at the Misfits Manor. We ended up not going, found out that we were going to get jumped if we went there. All sorts of lame shit going on. And then, and I haven't dealt with that stuff personally, right? So Bryce is like, oh, don't worry, man. Their energy always changes, right? So these guys are all talking trash, but when we see them, like, you'll see. And I was like, okay, I mean, I can't wait for this. So we go to the fight, and all these guys who are talking trash and acting so big, they're looking at the ground. They'll shake Bryce's hand and hey Bryce, how are you? So yeah, you're talking about energy change. It's like just a different person. Everyone's so tough online, so tough in the Twitter space, so tough when they're tweeting, and it's a 180, So B Dave was one of those guys who was just kind of messing around on the space, and then we were cool with him there. Met him, energy changed. Him and a whole bunch of other guys, same thing. It was really interesting, actually. And then afterwards, we were all cool. And then we got back, and B-Day started, just messing with Bryce again. And I got on and just explained what happened and just sort of clowned him for, the big energy change that I witnessed. And he dug into me, and it was just, it was a little fun, man. We just went at it a little bit. But he's a good dude. I respect him. We're cool now. He hopped on another space the next day, and we were just laughing about it. So, yeah, it is what it is, man. It's fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, B Dave is a fan favorite. How do you think he did in that Survivor Tag match recently?
I think he did well. I think he did really well. Yeah, I got just nothing but respect for him. But I respect everybody who got in the ring. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. I think everyone who jumps in there has a lot of courage, and props to them.
Yeah. I mean, for myself, I can't wait to see B Dave in a tag team match again. Hopefully with Pineda, because I think them two, they complement each other so much. I mean, they're so different, but yet they're so they work so well together. And we saw that when they did their tag team. They knocked out their their opposition within 1 or 2 rounds. So I think that them two maybe against Bryce and Nick would be amazing.
I mean, I think it's really cool. I like the idea.
Yeah, so obviously they are tomorrow. Actually, as of recording this here in the UK tonight is Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Who have you got in that fight?
Jake Paul.
Any
Wait,
reason why?
what's up?
Any reason why you've got Jake Paul ahead of Nate Diaz?
Yeah, I mean Nate's slowed down over the years. Nate's stand-up game was never his strength. I think he underestimates pretty much all of his opponents. I mean, he's a G and he's a pioneer, and I respect him and he's a Hall of Famer in my mind for sure. But Jake Paul is he's on another level right now. He's got youth. I'm sure he's training harder. Nate doesn't have the best drive. He'll probably smoke a joint on the way to the fight. Yeah, Jake's just a different level right now. And his power too. I mean, he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah,
Quick.
I think it's gonna be a good fight. But I'm thinking that Nate Diaz is known for like his durability, like he's so tough. So I wonder if Jake Paul, is he gonna be able to break him down over 10 rounds, or is Nate Diaz gonna come on top maybe in the later rounds?
No, I think Nate gets knocked out earlier on. I don't think it goes that long, honestly. He's just a lot slower now. Oh, I mean, look, the one thing going for him is that his the way he fights is just unorthodox. It's weird, the way he stands. So it's hard to spar and to train for that. So you can't get anybody in the ring who's gonna walk around and move like Nate. So that's the one thing he has going for him. But I just don't think he has the power to do any damage to Jake.
And speaking of Jake Paul, then can I get your top five pound for pound influencer boxers right now?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Um, I mean, yeah, I would say in no order, just top of my head. Um, I mean, definitely Jake, KSI. I think Bryce after this. I think everyone else will agree. Um, I know Deji's great. He works really hard. Deji and I don't know. I think Nick. Nick's awesome, man. Nick can fight.
Well, there we have it, guys. Thank you very much, Brad, for this interview. Good luck with everything you're doing, and hopefully I'll talk to you again soon, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You too.